Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Middle Age Gaming. For all of our middle aged gamers or middle aged gaming adjacent, 'tis the season of giving, and that, of course, means picking out what to get your loved ones. Well, never fear, our jolly hosts are here to help you find the perfect gift, but we're going to be changing things up a bit today, and Antoine is going to tell you how. So, Antoine, what are we doing a little bit differently today?
I actually have no idea. Are we doing something different today?
Well, I mean, we're not
We are not
covering games specifically.
exactly. We are not covering games because it's a Christmas period, and of course, you are late buying your presents, and there's only 3 days. Be careful. So, we are going to talk about what we bought recently or that we want to buy. And Adam, do you want to start or I go ahead?
You can go ahead, that's fine.
All right, fair enough. So recently, as you may have known, Age of Empire 4 came out, and my computers was screaming, "Oh, mate, you only have 12 gig of RAM. That's just not enough. You need at least four more." And if you are like me and don't know much about your beautiful box, I had to look because I never built a computer myself. So I looked at what I had inside, and I see I had two Siemens RAM card of 8 and 4 gig each. And so I looked at what am I supposed to do to increase this, and I learned a few tips that I'm gonna share with you. Of course, since I bought very rapidly, I didn't took any of these advice into account for myself. So, first advice is turn off your laptop and take out one of the RAM card to see the make of the card, the capacity of the card, the speed of the card, and of course the type. Is it a DDR3, which is a bit old now? Most of them are DDR4, and very likely in a few years we're gonna see DDR5 coming out. It's the type of actual physical how your card is physically inserted into the port. So if you have the wrong type, you bought it for nothing. So look at all of this before. Also, I learned usually on your motherboard, you have four emplacements on it. And usually when you buy a computer already pre-made like I did, and it's not that I recommend it, but when you are like me and you don't know much about computers at first, better to buy a pre-made computer and tinker with it like I did. Now I'm feel ready that I can buy my new box. But anyway, in this very case, I was able to hi Apex.
And then the other is one Lin. I don't know the other two characters. My Chinese reading isn't that good. But yeah, we got people in the chat today for
There's people in
once.
the chat. Sorry, I was disturbed for wow, we have people talking. Hi. So know that if you want to add, for instance, 32 gigs of RAM, it's much better to buy two cards at 16 rather than one and have three of the four slots or one of the four slots. It's much better to have it in pairs. Much better to avoid trouble. Of course, I didn't do that, and I have three out of the four ports occupied. But at the moment, I don't have any issues. Also, I did not buy Siemens, which were originally with the computer. I bought Crucial, which I believe, Adam, you have a screenshot of.
I'm showing it right now. You can't see it, but the audience can.
I can't see it. So, if, like me, you are not sure of what your computer is can take, Crucial have this little thing which detects the kind of cards that you can get. So you go on their website, it's gonna detect your hardware, and it's gonna tell you you need this. And of course, you need the speed as well of the card. Each of these little RAM cards have a specific speed, which mine was 2666. I actually don't really know what that does, but I know that it's much better to have all the cards with the same speed so they can interact much better with each other. So that's all the little tips I had on this, and thanks to this, I raised my my capacity to over 30 gigs, and now I can play Age of Empire 4 properly without having these alarms everywhere. Be careful, you don't have enough RAM. Your computer is gonna, your game is gonna shut down, and you're gonna lose everything. So this is my little, and this is small enough to actually be stuffed in your stockings, which is why I actually took this one. Isn't that appropriate?
Exactly. Do you know how much like this would roughly cost? Like, how much did it cost you?
I believe, and I want to be very precise here, around 80 bucks, 80
Okay,
Canadian dollar.
so less than 100.
That's
That's not too bad.
that's precise. Yes, exactly. I actually I had no clue of how much these cost, and I don't know so these because they are really tiny stuff that you could put in your computer, and I thought it would be like 20, 30 bucks. Nah, it's more like 80, maybe 100, and it's very good to purchase some very good brand. I am very fair to Corsair myself, but again, I don't really know if it's compatible with my computer, which is why I looked, browsed a few forums, and went for the safest option. Where I saw, nah, just go to Crucial, let them, scan your hardware. They will tell you what you need. You buy, you install, and that's it. Little tip for people like me who actually very don't are not used, say, to tinker with the box. The RAM card, is not that easy to install. You really have to push it very strongly because I didn't do it properly the first time. It clipped on the top, but not at the bottom. I didn't realize it at first, and it gave me a very beautiful blue screen, and my computer wouldn't start. So I slightly panicked that I bust out my computer out of for a $80 card. After having a few breathing sessions, I was like, it's all right. Let's plug everything off, take it all out, and restart and replug it. And after pushing like insane in it, it clipped on both sides, and then it restarted, and the hardware was recognized without any issue. And then I had a much easier time to breathe. God, I didn't bust my computer. Phew.
So
Good
this
for
is
me, huh?
yeah. So this is for PC or for laptop?
PC. No,
Okay.
because you can change for laptop, but I have no idea how, to be honest. I think you need to have a special port for it. I have a laptop not next to me, but yeah. Honestly, if you have to do this on a laptop, I would say go to a YouTube video. First and foremost, check out. That's what I did for my PC. And yeah, before doing anything, just check out how professional do that because well, they are the best to tell you how to do it. So that's kind of a no-brainer. So look at YouTube videos, check out forums, inform yourself before you bust out or your whole installation.
Yeah, yeah. I've been looking into getting some updated RAM for not RAM, memory for the PS5, but it's so expensive right now that I'm kind of like, I'm not gonna play. I'm not gonna pay 2/3 of the console just for update on RAM. I'll just have to delete some games. That's what I'm gonna have to do.
PS5 or
PS5, yeah, yeah. That's ROM, not RAM, but yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
and
but
that's how Switch did much better with it. You just put, like a
yeah,
little micro USB card, and that's it. You have like 5 times the actual memory of the console itself.
yeah. You
It's
can
not
you
that
can do
expensive.
external memory that way, but you can't play PS5 games from it. But you can play PS4 games from it. But it hasn't been too big of a problem. I'm just because when I had the PS4, I got a was it the Nico? I got the data bank, and so I put 4 terabytes of RAM in it, and then after that, I never needed to uninstall anything ever again for the rest of the uh for the rest of the console's life. I never needed to uninstall anything, so I was kind of like, oh yeah, I want to do that again, but then it's like, no, it's so expensive that I'm not going to do that, not anytime soon. So, but yeah, so interesting. So yeah, the fact that it's $80, that's not bad at all.
That's not a bad price. Of course, this is an advice I'm gonna give for every little thing we are gonna talk about today. If possible, and now it's a bit late, of course, but wait for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. That was quite like what a few weeks ago, not even a month ago, maybe a month ago. Of course, it's much cheaper on that day. It's obvious, but if you can wait for it, wait for it. If you can't, wait for Christmas, Boxing Day.
Mm. Now, you got this, you said, from Amazon?
No, I did it straight from the Crucial website.
Oh, okay.
I know
Uh,
the link I gave you was Amazon, but no, from the Crucial website, because I think it was much faster delivery
oh, okay. Yeah,
somehow.
I was wondering if there was maybe a price difference if you went directly
Oh,
there or if you did
and
Newegg or.
yes, there was a price difference because Amazon would sell them by lots of two, and I just needed one.
Mm.
Of course, they sell it by two because, as I said, it's recommended to buy them in pairs, which I should have, watched forum before I bought my stuff. But hey, I didn't have any issues yet, and I don't think I will have because, well, it has been already a month or two since I have it, and I didn't experience any crash or anything. So, touching wood's gonna be fine. But don't do like me, buy a pair, fill all your slots, and it's gonna be much easier. And if you don't, and if you build a computer from scratch, from what I understand, but please check it. It's you have to fill slot number one and number three. I think it's in that order. Again, because I saw YouTube videos which with the professional guy saying, "Yeah, in this port and this port specifically. Why
Oh,
not two
okay.
and four? I don't know, but he said, "Yeah, do it like this." Okay, boss.
So that's why we should go to forums and watch YouTube videos on how to install these things.
Because there's actually professional who knows that stuff, and I
Yeah.
have no clue what I'm doing. So.
All right. Well, I don't have any other questions. I think most people know what RAM is, so we don't need to go too far into that rabbit hole, right? Okay, so I'm going to go
I hope so.
ahead. I should hope so. So I'm going to go ahead and list my first one. So my first one is the Red Dragon M908 Impact, which is an MMO mouse. And there are actually quite a few out there. There's the Logitech. I can't remember what the model is, but there's a Logitech MMO mouse that's usually highly recommended as far as one of the cheaper MMO mice go. But this one you can get for a little over $30. I think it's like $33 US or something like that. So you can get it relatively cheap. But this is definitely for somebody who likes playing MMOs. Because if you've ever played an MMO, World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy 14, what else is popular? I don't know.
Terra,
Terra Online, I guess. Do people still play that? But if you're playing these
Black
games,
Black Desert.
Black Desert, yeah, Black Desert. If you're playing these games, a lot of times you just have tons of abilities, especially with kind of the older ones like Final Fantasy 14 or World of
Or
Warcraft, where you
Tezo.
just have, yeah, does Black Desert have like all the abilities tied to a
Of
button
I don't
though?
know, more like Elder Scroll Online.
Yeah, Elder Scrolls Online, that sort of thing. So usually you just have tons and tons and tons of hotbars. And most people bind them to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Usually they're number keys, or they might use some other keys. But sometimes your hands are kind of dancing around. It's almost like playing piano when you're getting into your rotations and whatnot. And it can get a little bit daunting, especially when you're trying to move at the same time. If you're trying to move left, or if you're trying to strafe right, and so you have to hold down D, but you also have to hit the 6 key. So you're like twisting your hand around backwards and stuff like that. It can get kind of crazy, and you can get used to it, but it's you start doing kind of what console users when they start getting that claw formation where they're like hitting the D-pad with their index finger. So it's not, yeah, you get into weird situations. So an MMO mouse solves that problem by putting just a bunch of buttons on the sides of your mouse right there. You can see right there with the side buttons, you have 12 side buttons, and all of them are programmable, so you can set them up to whatever you want. And of course, just like in an MMO, you can hold down the shift key, and it gives you access to another set of 12. Hold down the control key, you get access to another 12. So you have access basically to 36 buttons right there with your thumb. So that's super convenient. It might take a little while to get used to, but once you do, it's going to make your life a lot easier. But the thing is even if you don't play MMOs, this kind of mouse is still super useful. I mean, for instance, I really love my mouse. I have a Foxray. I don't remember the model number. Venus something. I'm using what does it say? FXR SM29 Venus gaming mouse. So this is a gaming mouse, and it's only got, I don't know if you can see it very well, but it's only got the 2 buttons on the side. But it's fully programmable. And if you go through the videos a while back, I was editing the audio, and I did a stream of myself editing the audio, and in it you can see that I bound all the keys or all the buttons on the mouse to various things that I needed to do in the audio. For example, my mouse wheel, if you click the mouse wheel, that would silence something. Or if you hit the buttons on the side, it would fade in or fade out. And I have a button for copy and a button for paste and all that. And it's okay, but you have a lot of limited options. I only have so many buttons. And having a mouse with, all these extra buttons on it, if you're doing any kind of audio editing, if you're doing any kind of video editing, or even art, I know a lot of artists now use like the sketch pads or whatever, and I have one, but I've been doing it with a mouse for so long before I got the sketch pad that I'm actually still not used to the sketch pad, so I actually do it better on the mouse still, which is weird, but yeah, I don't know, I'm just more used to the mouse. But having things like that, for instance, right now I've been trying to update our intro because our old intro, was very specifically featuring myself in Korean, and now we have 2 new hosts, so that's no longer inappropriate because we need, something that's a little more generic. And so I've been editing that, and as I'm doing it, I noticed that I could set certain buttons to the things on the side. So for instance, the pencil tool, I set to 1 button. The eraser, I set to 1 button. The select tool, I set to 1 button. And having that is just super helpful, because I don't have to either I have to move my hands to the keyboard and hit the hotkeys, or I have to take my mouse, and if you've ever, used something like Photoshop or something like that, I have to move it to the left of the screen, pick the tool I want, bring it back. And not having to do that, just being able to just right there, click, and I have the tool, and I don't have to move the mouse or anything. I can just click, get the tool I want, here, click, go back to, click to do the eraser, click to do the pencil, click to do the eyedropper tool. I don't have to go back and forth. It was actually going a lot faster and a lot smoother. So having a mouse like this with all these buttons, to me, would be super useful. And there are some ones that are nicer, but we're doing stocking stuffers today, and so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go with one that's pretty good and has a good price, and so I chose this one because the price is right, just a little over $30. It's got all those button functionality that you want. If you're the kind of person that likes RGB lighting, I don't really care, but I know a lot of people are into that. It's got that. You can choose that as well. It's all programmable. And the other reason that I chose this one over the Logitech mouse was because with this one, there's a picture that'll show up from time to time. It's got a little disc that you can put in the bottom, and it's got weights in it. So if you're the kind of person that likes a heavier mouse, or if you're the kind of person that likes a lighter mouse, you can adjust it to the weight that you want so that you feel more comfortable with moving it around. Because some people, they like that kind of the heavier mouse, you feel, I guess it's more tactile in a way. But some people like the lighter mouse because they can feel more fluid. So you can find that weight that's good for you. And I think that's actually really useful as well.
Is that a cordless mouse, or is it
This
USB?
one's a USB mouse. There are cordless mice that you can buy. If you're looking for the nicer one, the was it the Razer Naga Pro, I think is what it's called. That one's cordless or corded. You can choose, I believe. But that one does have a bit of a reputation of breaking every 2 years or so, so you might have to replace it relatively so often. The Logitech mouse is recommended on the cheaper end just because the Logitech mouse has Logitech mouse is about the same price as this one. It might be a little bit higher, but it's very durable, and it's got the keys on the button are mechanical keys, so they work kind of like a keyboard. So it's a little more durable. That one will last you a really long time. That one also has most mice have the 2 buttons on the top. Here, 2 buttons on the top. That one actually has a 3rd button over here on the side as well. And I was going to talk about that one, but then this one has the weights in it, and it's a little bit cheaper. So I went with this one. But the Logitech, I don't remember what it's called, but Logitech does a MMO mouse that's also highly recommended. So.
All right. Before moving on to the next product, is there any brand in particular because that you like? Because we are talking about, I was talking about computer components. You are talking peripherals. I know, like for instance, I mentioned Corsair for components because it's an extremely good brand and extremely recommended. But for components only, if you start talking about Corsair headset, mouse, stuff like this, all of a sudden it's not that good anymore. So is there any brand that you trust more than others?
For me, actually, no, because it's kind of funny. Most of my peripherals are brands that I had never heard of prior to buying them. My headset is a Cooler Master. I'd never heard of Cooler Master. I think it's a Taiwanese company, or no, wait, maybe Cooler Master isn't. I know this one, the mouse is a Fox X Ray, which is a Taiwanese company. And I had obviously never heard of them, but the mouse was relatively cheap, and so I got it, and it's been working great. And in a way, I'm kind of hoping that it stops working great and breaks so I can get an MMO mouse, but it's too reliable, and so I can't justify the price of another
Break
mouse.
it, damn it!
Yeah, I know, right? So it's one of those things where I'm like, oh, it still works so well.
Oh
Um,
no, it accidentally fell in my coffee. Oh,
yeah,
I'll have
yeah,
to get a new one.
yeah. I don't like throwing away things that still work, and I don't think a mouse is the kind of thing you can donate to charity. I guess you could, but I don't know. So as long as this one works, I'll keep using this one. But when it goes, I think I'll go with an MMO mouse. But it's pretty durable. And the Cooler Master, this I've had for over a year. And actually, when I had that, was it the PS2, PS4? On the PS4, I had the official, I don't remember what they were called, the official Sony headset, and it worked really really well. But the material started kind of flaking off, and the battery life was getting worse and worse and worse over time. I typically like things that are corded, just because you don't have to worry about battery life. So I like corded mice. I like corded headsets. Um, if they had them, I would still use corded controllers for my console. But
Exactly the point I wanted to go to. Yeah,
yeah,
corded is better than wireless to me, at least.
yeah, you don't have to worry about battery latency. Is obviously going to be much much better. You don't have to worry about interference. Like if you have something that's like Bluetooth or whatever, sometimes you can get interference, and with cords, you don't have to worry about that. So I definitely prefer corded. But yeah, I got these because Korean and I were thinking about getting new headsets, and we looked at a video, and the guy was reviewing a bunch of them, and he just mentioned this one, and then listening to it, I was like, the audio on that one is just so much better. It's so obvious that the recording is so much better, and just a testament to my headset. I am the only host that we have who is not currently using a desk mic. So everybody else has the nice mic. They got the nice mics, and I was like, I should get a nice mic. And then I was like, yeah, but I think I feel like I sound okay. So I don't know. I can just keep
The
using
good
the
thing.
mic on my headset. So uh, and yeah, so this is Cooler Master. I'd never heard of them before. This is Fox X-Ray. I'd never heard of them before.
And
So I don't have particular brand loyalty.
at the same time, I think Korean took the Black Shark V2,
He
right?
did Black Shark too. I had never heard of them prior
Yeah.
to that. Yeah.
Oh wait, isn't it Razer Black Shark?
Maybe it is. I'm not
Let me-
sure. Yeah, I'd have to look it up. I did look it up last night, but I didn't look at
It
what
is.
his
It
was.
is a Razer. So Razer, which is of course a very famous brand that
Hmm.
I never use. Um, from the comments I saw, usually Razer would be an extremely good thing, except maybe not as durable as the rest.
That's exactly what I see. Is that Razer makes, when the products are new, they're fantastic and they work really really well, but they don't last quite as long as some other ones. So
And that's exactly why. So, very recently, for the Black Friday that I mentioned, I wanted to replace my headset because I was using the one I have from work, which are Logitech HS800, which is very nice. But for work, because first of all, this is it's supposed to be wireless, but as you can see, I'm using it all like wired all the time because the battery is gone very quick. Also, the material is not an over ear; it's on ear compared to the rest. It's not that bad, but the sound quality, I didn't realize since I have this one that the sound quality could be so much better. So it's very good for work. It's very good because you hear other people, but that's as far it goes. And also it breaks very quick. But I don't think is that because Logitech usually is quite durable and it's pretty nice. It's much more like it's the fact that it's wireless. Like on the two previous one I had, and I don't care because the work get it for me. I didn't have to buy it, so it's what broke was actually the charging port or the charging, not the cable itself, but the port. So I couldn't recharge it anymore, which makes it useless. Here, so this, in case you didn't see, this is the sorry, the camera is here. It's an HyperX Cloud Alpha S. Only issue I had with this, I bought it in Black Friday. I think something 110 or 120 Canadian dollar. The only problem kind of I have with this is that here this cable is non-removable. So, and maybe I think this is the same for you. So it's braided, it's very nice, it's very solid. But if this cable break by if there's any problem, if my son play with a scissor and cut it, the whole headset is dead. Which is why I usually prefer corded but detachable. And there is a headset like this, just usually it's much more expensive. And if you go full wireless, it's even more expensive and to my taste, less reliable. So corded is good, but if you can have a detachable corded, even better. This one, as you can not see the microphone, is because it's detachable as well. And since I have already a microphone here, the Yeti Bluetooth, um, the Blue Yeti Nano, which I made a review on it, but it's only on Captivate. So if you have a podcast, you can go to Middle Age Gaming Podcast and you will have um, um, which one is it that I talked about? I talked about the HyperX. Yeah, I talked about budget mic. There was a Siren, I think was a Razer. Talked about the HyperX with the cheaper one, and in the end I ended up with the Blue Yeti Nano because it's like $20 more than these two, and it's way better sound. Man, I like it much better and much lighter and everything. Anyway, back to back to this headset that I got um, for Black Friday. This is a bit too big to put in your stockings, so you'll have to put just one side and let the other one dangle a little bit. But that's all right because I find this is a very very good investment. Again, I usually had my son coming from like the iPhone little bud sets. You can't even call it a headsets, or my work computer. So I never experienced sound coming from a real, like over the ear headphone. Is also have this little mix sound on the cord, which allows me to use the 7.1 button, which makes it sounds extremely more immersive. Say I don't play really much FPS, but from what I understand, you are able to identify where the sounds are coming from much easier. If someone is walking this way or is a bullet come from that direction or whatever, you can identify sounds much better, which is much more useful if you are playing FPS like this. I actually don't, but I really like to have my my music in a much better quality. So it's a win for me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's quite a light headset, like very comfortable, extremely good sound. I don't know about the microphone because I don't need it, but it's detachable, so I don't see it. I don't have it, dangling in front of my face, and I really like that. So no, again, it's I think an excellent purchase. Razor X is very famous, very well known. There's a very famous YouTubers or streamers here in Canada. There's a very beautiful Pokemon is using it. She's sponsored by HyperX, so I don't think she can really say bad things about it. In any case, I'm not sponsored by HyperX, and I can tell you as much as I said bad thing about their entry microphone. I can tell you that this headset is excellent.
All right. So it can be wireless if you want it to be, or it's 100% corded.
You, HyperX have a very wide uh, like line of products, and they do have wireless headsets. I believe it's called Cloud Flight,
Okay.
but for everything wireless, you bring the price way up.
Mm,
They they, they even have, I think, like a $600 headset, which is supposed to be fantastic, but of course for this price,
$600
I
is
keep yeah, I keep reading in the higher price. You also have the A50. I don't remember from which company it is, but everybody say, yeah, use the A50. Okay, sure. What's the price? Three or 400? Nah, thank you. uh, I like my sound good, but I don't. I'm not working in the music industry, right? So I don't need it to be that good. My ear is not that well formed to hear these slightly subtle changes in music. So I'm
yeah.
good with that.
Yeah, I'm not much of an audiophile either. I went to when I was getting like years ago, I was getting a pair of headsets for my phone, uh and they had the low quality, the medium quality, and the high quality, and they were letting me sample all three, and I could not tell the difference between the medium and the high quality headphones. I was like, maybe it's better, but I can't tell if it's actually better or if I'm just imagining it's better because you told me it's better. So I just ended up going with the medium uh with those, but yeah, like the sound quality here is fine, and that's one of the things though is I mean I've been using these for so long, I don't know, maybe if I plugged in a different headset, maybe I'd be like, oh wow, what have I been listening to all this whole time? But it sounds great to me.
Maybe.
So yeah,
Also, one last thing I forgot to mention, and which was very important for me in buying this headset in particular, is I'm gonna show you. So I can't listen to you for a second.
sure.
This I don't know if you can see, but this is a fabric ear cuff. It originally came with the leather one, but in the box you can change for the fabric, which I found far better because I'm not in Taiwan, so I don't risk the I don't have the risk of sweating in my ear if I keep
Mm,
it for too long. As I see, Taiwan is extremely hot, and in Canada right now it's -10, so I don't have this issue. But leather, if you keep it for a long period, it start flaking off, and I don't really like the feel on my ear. I just don't really like it. And this leather, which they include in it, it's a bit tricky to attach, but even for me who never did it in 10 minutes, it was all set up. And like this, for instance, the HS Logitech, this falls after 6 months super easily. It falls all the time. Here, it's up here. My ear don't touch the back of the headset, so it's extremely comfortable. So I keep singing the praise of this one. I don't know the other product, but if you have to go for a product, especially if it's on discount, the Cloud Alpha S, that's the way to go.
yeah, the old let's see if I can reach it. Hang on, give me a second here. I'm gonna scoot all the way back.
All right.
So
No, you're
I have
touching you're touching your green screen behind you.
huh? No, this is not a green
Oh.
screen. This is my actual room. This is what my room actually looks like. This is not a green screen. This is real time. Sometimes I'll put a green screen behind me if I'm playing games and whatnot, but nope, right now this is all real. Uh, so yeah, these are my old PlayStation ones, and this is the funny part is if you look real closely, yeah, you can see. I
Oh
mean,
my.
okay, granted, this is yeah, this is all flaking off, and so this is one of the things is this had leather on it, but I don't know if you can even see it now. There's no leather on this anymore. It's just cloth now
Oh yeah.
because, and the thing is it's just so humid here that it just flakes off so quickly. So yeah, these ones are cloth as well, and I'm definitely much happier with cloth. Even though you might sweat a bit, it's yeah, this one because I would wear them for a while and I'd take them off and there's just these black flecks just all over my head and it's just everywhere and
Aren't
it's
you sure it's just because you used to play PlayStation way too much and you just don't have the time anymore?
um no. No, definitely the humidity. I
Okay.
still play a fair bit. I mean, I did what was it 4 hours of streaming yesterday with other side. So, uh, no,
And you
I
still feel
definitely
comfy.
prefer cloth. Hmm?
And you still feel comfy with this headset.
Oh yeah. That's the thing is actually for me. I used to not like headsets at all. Like I guess my ears are a little bit big and stand out. So headsets were not comfortable at all. And even with this one, when I first got it, if I wore it for more than maybe 30 minutes or so, my ears would start to get sore, and that was a problem. But now, I mean, I've had them for a year now. I'm used to them now. That doesn't bother me anymore. So, but yeah, when I first got them, they were a bit uncomfortable with my ears. If I wore them for an extended period of time, my ears would start to get a little bit. But now it's not an issue. But I also I think even here I prefer cloth because the leather does not breathe and it just gets
Yeah, that's the
steamy
thing.
and
So why is leather? Is it cheaper? I don't
I
know.
don't think it's cheaper.
Maybe
I think
so.
people just like it. I
Ah,
think people just like I mean, yeah, like why do people like leather chairs? You stick to them and they get super hot if they're in the sun. I don't know, but people like them. I think it's just a
a question of taste.
yeah, I think it's a question of taste and I think part of it is maybe it's a little smoother, so maybe it's not so quite abrasive if you have sensitive skin, I guess. I don't know. But then also I think it's
Hmm.
part of a status thing. I think, it used to be, if you get a couch or you get a sofa or something, if you could afford a leather sofa, leather is a more expensive material. So maybe it was like a status thing, I have a leather chair.
And then you realize you
Expensive.
have a cat and your leather sofa is destroyed in 2 weeks.
Yeah. So, but yeah, actually this one, to be fair, not all of this that's falling off here, not all of that is due to uh time. Some of that is cat teeth chewing at it. So
Well
yeah,
done,
it's
cats.
yeah, they are destructive little beasts. They are. Emphasis on beasts. All right. So, anything else to say about your headphones?
No, um, I saw that your Sony can, like fold and all. This one counts, but anyway, I don't really need them to, and no,
Yeah.
they're good enough.
Yeah,
And
these ones don't
again,
really fold either.
$120. Yeah, $120. I mean, as far as gaming headsets are, it's of course I got them on Black Friday, so they were much cheaper. But that's still budget. That's still what you consider budget. Usually, if you want a very good one, like the say how do you call this, the Saint Signer series that you can see in the like the pro streamers usually have this Saint Signer series. I don't know if they are sponsored or whatever, but I know that it's extremely popular, and these are super expensive and quite fragile from what I understand. But it's supposed to be really, really good.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I won't know. I don't care. I'm very good with this.
Yeah. Okay, then I'll move on to my second product then. I have.
Third, you already talked
Well,
about
I talked
the
a little bit about the
Untitled
headphones, yeah.
Mass.
So I guess
Yeah.
third then. All right, so that'll be this here. This is the. I'm sorry if you guys can't see it because there's icicles in the way, but decoration is important. The iPega 9167 mobile gaming controller, and I've ordered this, and I was hoping it said that it might come in as early as yesterday, and I was really hoping it would come in yesterday so I could play around with it, give you guys, show you guys it, show how it works and whatnot. But unfortunately, it didn't come in just yet. So maybe it'll come in today or hopefully soon. But anyway, for people that like to play mobile games, and I've been trying to play more because that seems to be where our popularity is. Mobile gaming is not my thing, but I'm putting an effort into it. And one of the biggest things for me, if it's a game that's a puzzle game like Sudoku or something like that, you touching the screen's fine. But if you want to play something like Call of Duty or Final Fantasy First Soldier or any kind of shooting game or something like that, or even some of the action games, even some of the RPGs that I've played in the past, like Guardian Tales, which I do still play. That is one of the few mobile games that I do really enjoy. Just having your thumbs on the screen all the time, blocking out part of the vision. I'm not big on that. And then also the other thing for me is, when you're moving your thumbs around, especially if you're using it as like an analog stick, eventually I don't know, my thumb starts to feel weird because it's just like rubbing against something for an extended period of time and you're just rubbing your thumb against it. And I don't know, I don't like that feeling. Maybe it's just me. But especially like when I was trying to play Final Fantasy VII First Soldier and sort of that sort of thing, when you're moving around and then eventually with you're moving that, and as my thumb is sliding across the screen, it's starting to slide onto other things, and it could be problematic. So having a controller would be really, really useful. And I did try to hook up my DS5. It didn't work too well with what I was doing, but I didn't try it for too long. But I really wanted something that was designed for phones. And for me, I wanted two things. One, I wanted something that clipped onto the side, kind of like a Switch controller. I didn't really like the controllers where they have it and then they have like a panel that flips up and you put your phone on top. I wanted something where I could hold the phone on the sides because that has that form factor of the Switch. It's got the form factor of uh the PSP and the PS Vita and the original Game Boy Advance and all those. And I like that form factor of having everything on the side. And so I wanted that. And then the other thing I wanted was symmetric analog sticks. A lot of them use the kind of the Xbox or Switch thing where the right analog stick is high and the left analog stick is low. And I like having symmetric sticks. I mean, I don't think that one is necessarily superior to the other. I've heard people say that asymmetric is better because typically you keep your right thumb on, so you want your thumbs in the high position, and typically you're moving with the left, and then you're using your buttons with the right. So having, if you're using the buttons and not the second analog stick, then you are in the same position there. But if you're playing a mobile game like PUBG or Call of Duty or one of those, you're actually going to keep your thumb on the analog stick most of the time. So for me, I just like having both things on the analog stick. I don't know, my brain just maps it better, or maybe it's an aesthetic thing. So I wanted the parallel sticks. That was the other thing I wanted, and this one had it, and also this one's really nice because it's telescopic and it can support up to 11 inches. So you can put an iPad Pro in this thing. So you can get pretty big with it, which is really cool. Some of them don't get quite that big. And the other thing that is nice about this one is a lot of it's just kind of detachable. So you can kind of customize it a bit how you want. So if you are the kind of person that wants, the two sides, you can do that. If you're the kind of person that only really wants the left side for movement and, you don't really need the right side, so you can still you still want to use your finger or something like that. For instance, if you were playing a game like, say, Fallout Shelter, where you want something to cut for scrolling on the left, but you still want to use your finger on the right, you can switch it out. You can switch out the right stick for that, and then you can plug it in directly. It also has, you can kind of see it. There's a jack on the left that what you can do is slide the jack in, and you can plug it in your phone. And what happens is, because different phones have their if you assuming your phone still has a jack, they're in different places. Sometimes they're kind of closer to the middle, sometimes they're on this side, sometimes they're on that side, sometimes they're on the top, sometimes they're on the bottom. So there's no one set place, and the way that they've solved that on this is they actually just have a little attachment that you put it into your phone and then you just slide it in, but it's not actually attached directly to the controller, so you can slide it up and down. So no matter where your audio jack is, you can just slide it to where you need it to be. So that's actually really convenient. So all those things together, and the price is right. Let me see, I don't remember what the price is off the top of my head, but it was really relatively cheap. It was, let's see, I want this. Let's see. It is a little bit less than $40 US, so it's like 38 something or 39 something. So, less than 40 bucks. I figured that's a good stocking stuffer. There are I was looking at reviews and they're really mixed. It's kind of funny if you look at the US reviews, then they're typically pretty bad. They're really mixed. Most of them are good. It had like a solid 3.7, which isn't great, but on Amazon, which isn't great, but a lot of people really liked it. Other people said it was just awful. But if you look at any of the other Amazons that aren't English, then it was pretty universally praised. So I don't know what that means. Maybe English speakers are just a little more cynical. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, on the Spanish site, it got really good reviews. Portuguese site, it got really good reviews. So
So maybe you can give us your review maybe next
yeah, I
week.
was really hoping it would come in last night and I could give you my assessment, but unfortunately, it didn't come in yet. So
It's
uh,
making really me smile right now because most likely, of course, you remember that in last podcast in the news, we talked about the Razer slash no idea. This collaboration was
Yeah,
they were making a special console, mobile console for Android games.
yeah,
And the question was, would you invest in that? Well, apparently, Adam just invested in a $38 clip for the phone, and
exactly.
that's
Why would I invest in
I
like a
won't
two
say
hundred dollar thing?
exactly. I won't say that's good enough because he hasn't tried it yet, but most likely that will be good enough.
Yeah, exactly.
So why invest? I'm sorry, Razer. I'm sure your name is way out in the industry and everything, but
Yeah, I think the only thing is, I think the only advantage that really has, I mean, as far as form factor, I don't think there's too much of an advantage there. I think the only advantage there would be that this is a smartphone. It's designed to be a smartphone, and it can play games, but it's not necessarily they do make smartphones that are specifically made for playing games, and this is not. This is just a generic smartphone. So I think in that sense it'll be a little bit more geared specifically for games, so it'll probably run things a little bit better, a little bit faster, and it won't heat up necessarily as much as this one. This one will heat up after a while. So I think it has the
of
advantage
course,
in that it's
yes.
yeah. So I think it's more for. But if you're the kind of person who gets phone, who looks up, I want a phone. I'm going to be playing games. I want a phone that plays games really well. No, you just get something like this and you'll be fine.
But again, let's put it out there that 95% of mobile game phone use either, like energy or stuff which makes you stop playing after half an hour, maybe an hour if you just downloaded the game. And unless your name is Phil and you're playing Lord of the Rings 6 or 8 hours in a row, it's quite rare for you to play mobile game for that long.
Yeah,
I don't know that if I didn't actually saw one of Phil, like streams, I would have been 6 hours on a mobile game. What are you talking about, really? So, oh, we have some. Unfortunately, we have no one in the chat, and then we
we have
have.
a bot.
Thank you, but
Don't go to that whatever it is. I don't know,
don't
but
click
don't
don't
click
click
on it
that,
or go
please.
there because that is
We're gonna block that user. Useless. Anyway, so Razer versus a clip for the phone, depending on your use of games. But I'm sure that if you have a computer or a PS5, what's the use of playing 6 hours on a mobile phone? Mobile phone is really good if you go to if you commute to work when there's not COVID. Of course, if you remember how it was before COVID, and you actually go to work and you have half an hour of bus trip, of course, mobile game was great. Now, well, I don't know. I've never been a mobile game player that much, but in any case, if I want to spend a long time playing, I'm just gonna go on Steam and play whatever RPG or stuff there is at the moment that I want to play. Not really on mobile games. So is the fact that a mobile phone is gonna heat up after 2 hours of playing a really big issue? I think not, but that's just my view of it. Of course, you are very welcome to tell me in the comments that I'm wrong, because I think Korean said that you can now comment on Spotify. So you can listen to our podcast and comment at the same time. That's a revolution. I want to
Woohoo.
know. I want to know your thoughts. I want to know why you're not going to YouTube to subscribe to our channel. Do I start to sound like a creep?
No.
Welcome to Middle Age Gaming.
All right.
It's late. I'm authorized to do that. I don't care.
Okay, well, before we go, we do have a little bit of news today, so we can go over. The first bit, most of it's two good things and one not so good thing. The first one is Minecraft has become the first game or anything to reach over 1 trillion views on YouTube, which is kind of crazy because considering that there are only, 7 billion people on the planet Earth, that means every single person on Earth has watched a Minecraft video over 10 times. Or some people have watched hundreds of Minecraft videos. Now I wasn't quite sure what they meant when they said it's had a trillion views. Do you know exactly what that means? Because I mean, what exactly counts as a view, and what exactly counts as a view of Minecraft specifically?
I guess they have some rubrics that you when you stream or anything. There's you have to tag the hashtag Minecraft or something, and they count all of them.
Okay,
Honestly, I
yeah,
don't
that
really
might be
know
it.
the
It might
base.
be.
Mm.
There have been 1 trillion views of videos that have Minecraft tagged in them. That might be it. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was kind of
exactly.
wondering about that because I'm like,
Yeah.
now when you say Minecraft views, though, I mean, how do you know that it's specifically Minecraft? Because there is a lot of things where people,
Well,
there
because
might
it's
be
tagged.
Minecraft in the video, but it might be part of a larger video or other things. So I was like, specifically, how do you know that Minecraft has been watched this many
So
times? But
so
that's
here
probably
you
what
can
it
see that.
is.
Yeah, you can see that Adam is American because he's asking for a recount.
I'm not asking for a recount. I'm asking how is the counting done, which is also very American.
Yes,
Um,
but it's YouTube, so they're never gonna tell you.
no, just like the American
We
government.
True. We told you it's 1 trillion. Why are you asking us how?
Yeah, no, I'm just curious. I mean, I don't doubt it. I was just wondering, like, how do they
Yeah, no.
know? How do they measure it? Um,
Apart from a tag, I don't really know how they would.
yeah. I do not doubt it. I do not doubt it one
In,
bit. I was just
yeah.
wondering
In
how
any
it was done.
case, it's fantastic achievement for Minecraft, especially
For
when you
anything. This is the
realize.
first anything to get one
Yeah,
trillion views. I mean, that's yeah.
especially when it's cubes. It's graphically ugly and it's still the
It's
most
the
popular thing
genius of it.
ever. Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
But
out there.
yeah.
But
It's come a
I
long
have
ways.
never watched. I never watched it even once, to be honest.
I'm yeah, and that's the thing too is I like I've never watched a Minecraft stream or specifically a Minecraft video, but I have seen my students tend to watch them a lot, and I have seen like a lot of them just will be random compilations where like it's just basically Minecraft memes every 4 seconds, and it's just like streaming through them and people screaming, and I'm like, does that count as a Minecraft video? I don't really
Yeah, that
know.
would.
Um,
That would because Minecraft must be tagged in this.
yeah. So I'm like,
But
does that count
that.
as a Minecraft video if it's only like 4 seconds long and it's just a guy
Yeah, but
screaming? Or...
that YouTube is trying to compete with compete lol with TikTok with YouTube Shorts,
Yep,
and YouTube
I've seen
Shorts
those
four
now.
seconds it counts as shorts. So two
Yeah,
seconds of
yeah. I'm also wondering. I don't know if they calculate this or not, but I'm wondering if it's counting unique views. So like for instance, if you have somebody and they watch the same video 5 times, does that count as 5 views or does that count as 1 view?
yes.
So
No,
that's
no,
another
that
thing that
counts
I'm
as
kind of
five
curious
views.
of. Yeah, I mean, I would
I'm
not
sure.
be surprised if it's 1 trillion unique views. By
No,
that wouldn't
no, no,
surprise
no.
me at all. But
That would surprise me because when you watch, any YouTube videos and you see 6 million views, I'm the first one to watch a video like 10 times if I really like it, and it counts as one view each
oh,
time.
okay,
So
so then
I,
it's
I, I,
probably
wou- I
okay.
wouldn't say, yeah, I wouldn't say unique.
Okay,
And
probably not
maybe
unique
the
then.
fact that maybe there even count like associated products such as like there was Steve, the Minecraft character,
Yep.
and his female counterpart, which I forgot the name, I'm sorry, present in the latest DLC of Super Smash Bros.
Ah,
So
yeah, no,
if you
Steve
have a
was
fight, yeah, Steve and the girl one as well,
probably
the both of
Stephanie or
them are
something
there.
like that.
No idea, sorry.
Good job, cats.
Monsters.
Destructive little beasts.
So yeah, I wonder if this counts as a Minecraft view, since they appear in the Minecraft and the Super Smash Bros. Fight.
Yeah. That's
Maybe.
a good question. I don't know. I don't really know.
So
But
each
one
time you
trillion still is an
mention the word
accomplishment.
Steve,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I'm just
So
curious as to what they
bravo,
mean exactly. But still,
bravo.
oh, well done.
No, no, mais bravo, bravo.
Yeah. And speaking of views and watching for a long time, the Xbox recently came out with a documentary on the history of Xbox, the 20 years. I guess it was like the 20-year anniversary or something like that. It's called Power On: The Story of Xbox, and it is 4 hours long on YouTube. You can watch it for free. So I think it comes in most. I think it's usually I think it's in 5 installments of 40 minutes or something like that. But you can watch the
Do they
full
have
video.
do they have a special chapter called the Red Ring of Death?
I think the Red Ring of Death is in fact mentioned on it. I think they do. I think they do talk about the Red
Oh,
Ring of Death.
then
Um,
that's very clear. That's
yeah,
good of them then.
from what I've heard, they're very it's kind of tongue in cheek. It's I think they mentioned the Red Ring of Death. I know for a fact that they mention the whole Xbox. Was it the 3 or is it the Xbox One? Yeah, the whole Xbox One debacle where they were gonna like lock games to accounts, and Sony came out and they're like, "This is how you share games with friends." Hello, friend. Would you like to borrow my game? I know they reference that in there, so they talk about their failures on that and stuff like that. I don't think we're going to be streaming Apex today. Somebody's asking in the comments if we today has Apex streaming. I don't think so. I don't plan on streaming Apex today.
Did
Uh,
we ever stream Apex
I
here?
used to stream Apex a long time ago.
Yeah, but that was yours. Yeah, that's what I
Oh,
said.
not years. Just
No,
1 year, but
sorry,
not
our
today.
audience.
Sorry. I can stream Apex again if you guys want sometime. If you got if you know, I'm up to streaming what the audience wants. So if you guys want to see me streaming Apex, if you want to see a 37-year-old man fail at beating small children in a shooter, I would be more than happy to embarrass myself for your
Or
benefit. So
just wait a little bit because we already have 100. We already have
so many.
826 subscribers, which means that very soon we'll have Vermintide 2 event. And even if it's not Apex, it's gonna be fun anyway.
Yeah, you can watch that too. But yeah, I'm currently streaming a bunch of stuff. But yeah, I can go back to Apex if you guys want. I have been playing actually off stream with my friends, so I'm not entirely out
Funnily
of
enough,
practice.
I was talking about podcast earlier. Our podcast, yours and Korean podcast on Apex Free Fire, and I can't remember what, is still the most downloaded podcast ever, and it keeps download all the time. So Apex and Free Fire is still a big thing.
Yeah. So I would be more than happy to go back to that and you know, give you guys a little
Get
ego boost
specialized
when
on
you can
something
watch me
Apex.
play, and you can be like, oh, thank God I'm not as bad as that guy. If you need that, I would be more than happy to provide it for you guys. So yeah, just let us know, and I'd be more than happy to do that.
Yeah, I wanna watch.
Exactly. But yeah, so back to this Xbox documentary. If you guys want to check it out, I've watched a little bit of it, and yeah, it's pretty well done, pretty good. I would definitely recommend checking it out if you get the chance. And it's interesting because it does cover 20 years of history in gaming, and going back and looking at some of that old stuff, it's kind of like, wow, you know, like, look how much stuff has changed.
And if you are like me and never own a Xbox in your life, I think it's very interesting. I will watch that. I wanna watch.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch them talk about the very beginning where they were like, oh my God, you know, like we wanted to enter this gaming thing, but you know, right now it's Sony and Nintendo, and we were like, what are we doing? What are we getting ourselves into? And now it's
So
huge. Now they have Game Pass, and yeah.
and now and with this documentary, I'm sure you would understand the meme of the Xbox fridge.
Yes,
Remember?
that's probably mentioned somewhere towards the end. I haven't reached that far yet, but it's probably in there. But you can buy those. Well, you could have bought them.
You
Now you can buy them
could
from
have.
scalpers. Which leads us into our next topic here. So the last piece of news today, Elden Ring, Elden Scroll. Why am I saying Elden Scroll? Elden Ring, the premium collector's edition is sold out. They put it up. You could pre-order it, and some people had the same problem they had at the Xbox One or the Xbox X Series and the PlayStation 5, where the moment it went up, people clicked on the site, and the moment the page loaded, it was sold out. So this sold out like
Bloody
that.
scalpers.
Yeah, it's
But don't
scalpers again.
but don't worry, you can find it on eBay at twice the price.
Well,
Or
at
three times.
least twice the price. You know, if you really want it, you can go even higher than that. But yes, you can go on eBay and find these. But yeah, they did get scalped pretty quickly. So what's happening right now is Namco Bandai, I believe they took down the sales so that you can't currently order one, but you can sign up for a waiting list. And that is what's going to be happening going forward is you can sign up for a waiting list and you can get your copy that way. So go ahead and do that. But that said, there are some concerns because when they did initially come out, they said that they were only going to make 6,000 copies of these. You know, this is a collector's edition, so we only have so many. So there's only going to be 6,000 of them. So if you do want it, you need to sign up now because they will
Go
probably go
fast.
quick. So yeah, and then you're on the waiting list. So there's still no guarantee that even if you go now, you can still get it. But we'll see. Hopefully, the people who want it will be able to get it. I've personally only ever gotten 2 collector's editions in my life. I typically wasn't a big fan of collector's editions. I never got them, but I did get it for 2 games. Valkyria Chronicles 4, which I don't think you can see. You can kind of see the Hafen right there. It's really tiny, but there's the Hafen. And obviously, Cloud on, was it the Party Daytona or whatever they call it? But I got the Final Fantasy VII remake collector's edition. And both of those were for very specific reasons, and that was because getting the English version here in Taiwan was inconvenient, and so it was actually easier for me to pre-order on Amazon the collector's edition. I was like, you know what? If I'm going to do this, I'm going to go all the way. So
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't trust collector edition because they are just way too uneven. Sometimes you have a fantastic edition with a beautiful statue and everything you need inside, and like still art booklets and everything is fantastic. And sometimes it's just like, oh my god, what did I get? It's statue made by a 3 years old, and well, it has nothing inside, and so it's just too uneven. Unfortunately,
yeah, what was it? The Fallout 76 one had all that. A lot of people were going
yeah,
off on that one because they said like it was supposed to be something, and they ended up with like a really cheap duffel bag or something, or it was supposed to be like a really well-made duffel bag, and they ended up with this kind of like satchel bag or something like that. I remember it was supposed to be something, and they ended up not having enough of them, and so they ended up switching to something else. And it's like, if you didn't have enough, why were you selling it like that? That's so weird. Like, you should have known. But yeah, so I remember Fallout 76 had an issue with it. I got the Valkyria Chronicles one because yeah, I can't get the English versions of Valkyria Chronicles here. I have to get it from my English account, and the collector's edition came with the DLC. They did this weird thing where the DLC was ready, but if you bought one edition, you could get, if you bought like the digital deluxe, you got a certain DLC. If you got the collector's edition, you got a different DLC. And then they were going to release the DLC later, but like months later. It was really weird. So with the collector's edition, you could get the DLC a little bit earlier. So that was part of the reason I did it. A. B. I love Valkyria Chronicles. It's a fantastic series, and I hope they make a Valkyria Chronicles
agreed.
5. So I
Yeah,
love Valkyria Chronicles. So I was like, I'm willing to spend the money for this. And yeah, and I could only get it from the US. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna order that one. The Final Fantasy
I like a
VII
nice
one,
splurge.
yeah, the Final Fantasy VII one was purely because it was Final Fantasy. That one I could have gotten here in Taiwan, but I wanted the Final Fantasy VII one, and also Square, I will say, is typically pretty good with their collector's edition.
Yeah, Cloud
So
looks really cool.
he does. He's really nice. He's nice and big and everything.
Really
Uh,
big, yeah.
yeah, but the Square ones, they're usually pretty good quality, and also the cloud here is was it uh iPlay or Play Kai or Kai Arts. I don't remember the name of the company exactly. It has the word Kai in it, but it was they used to make all the figures for the, if you got like the Final Fantasy figures, and they made like a Play Kai or something like that. They made like the Iron Man figures and stuff. They would make these figures uh for whatever these games and stuff, and they went out of business. So this is one of the last things that they made, and there are not going to be more in the future. So this is actually a collector's item.
Put
Probably
it
not
on
worth a
eBay.
super lot. No, no. Yeah, that's the thing, is like if I'm gonna collect something, I'm actually going to collect it. I don't buy things to sell it as an investment. I buy it because I want it to sit on a shelf and collect dust, and I don't want
I
anybody
still,
else
I
to
still,
have it.
I still don't understand why people buy figurines or stuff like this and leave it in the original package.
It's worth more money.
Yeah, it's worth more money, but what's the point of buying it if I can't play with these?
Yeah. I mean, I get it. It's just an investment. It's yeah.
Of course.
And I mean, for them, they're not buying it for the collection. A lot of the times they're buying it for the investment. Or some people, they're buying it not necessarily for the object itself, but they're buying it for the value of the object. So they're collecting it, and it's kind of like showing. It's like a museum or something like that. It's this is a piece of history, or this is an event in time. If you have the original Star Wars figurines in their original boxes, this is having the toy is one thing, but having it in that mint condition, this is a time capsule in a way.
Yeah.
So I kind of see it. It's a
Can auction
preservation
it.
of that moment in time when Star Wars was a huge deal and it was fresh in people's minds, and we can look
We're
back and we
making
can
good
see.
movies.
Yeah. So I get it. I get it. It's not for me. It's not the way I like to collect things, but yeah, I get it. So yeah. And that's it for our news today. So I'm sorry for all you who wanted to get the Elden Ring Premium Collector's Edition. Sorry, you cannot get it right now. You can't get on the waiting list, but you can pre-order it. It is up for pre-order now. So if you are looking for it, you can pre-order it right now. Antoine won't, because Antoine hates pre-orders and he thinks it's the bane of human existence, and he'll never pre-order anything.
Oh, that's not true.
Okay.
If it's a Tales of, or for a very specific franchise, I would.
Okay.
Only for the franchise I trust.
Yeah, I pre-ordered Horizon Forbidden West because I had so much fun with the first one, and I'm pretty happy with the way Guerrilla does things. So I was like,
trust Guerrilla. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Same with the Valkyria Chronicles. I pre-ordered that because. So, but yeah, that's it for the news for today, and therefore, I guess that's the end of the show. So we're a little bit over time, but not too bad. All right.
And
Well,
of course, look forward for Adam next stream of Apex. Apparently.
well, Friday. I mean, I can. Like I said, if people are requesting it, I'll do it. But currently, I'm kind of occupied because I got Fridays. I'm doing Zero Dawn, Horizon Zero Dawn. So I'm getting through that. I spent some time on my own clearing out all the hunting grounds, and yeah, so I cleared out all the hunting grounds. I grabbed all the tall necks, and I did all that, but I didn't do any questing. So I'm saving the questing for the stream. And I'm getting all the stuff off stream, so that way when I'm on stream, I won't be so distracted by trying to get these things. So so yeah, so I'll be doing that, going through the story on that on Fridays. Assuming I can reliably log in, I'm doing Final Fantasy 11 and Final Fantasy 14 story, just the story. I'm doing all the outside stuff on my own, but just the story, trying to run through it on Mondays, and then on Tuesdays currently, I am doing Other Side, which is I've strangely had more success in terms of people watching than I have with other games, which Other Side I thought was kind of an indie game, and not that many people would even know about it. But maybe that's why. Maybe because nobody else is currently streaming it. So I don't know.
Exactly.
But yeah, so those are the three I'm doing right now. But Other Side, I'll probably be finished relatively soon, so I'll need something else to replace that. So if it needs to be Apex, that's it.
All right. Well, I think that concludes the show now, for
Yes.
real. So thank you, everyone, and see you next week.
See you all next week with not Christmas stuff. We'll let you know what it is on the day. All right, so bye-bye.